So today we're going to have a press release to give the media in Quebec a chance. We've heard from the English media, we've heard from even Jordan Peterson retweeting our story about this, but we haven't heard a peep from the Quebec media, not a peep. And so we're giving them a chance today at a press conference at noon to hear the facts and then ask the questions, and then they can also go to the hospital and see if they can get an official confirmation of what happened to baby Daniel. My name is George Buscemi. I'm president of Campagne Québec-Vie, or Quebec Life Coalition. So the story we're talking about today is the abortion at 38 weeks gestation of baby Daniel, who we now call baby Daniel. So last Wednesday morning, we got news from Montreal Against Abortion, another pro-life group, that they had received messages on their Facebook page that the person sending the message was privy to a meeting that was held at Sacred Heart Hospital in Montreal, where they were discussing doing a 38-week abortion the next day. And it was reported that there were people at the meeting who were completely saddened by this story, who were not willing to go through with the operation, who did not want to participate. So there was a lot of division within the staff about this. And so somebody from that meeting then sent the information on to our whistleblower, who communicated to the Facebook page of Montreal Against Abortion. And so the person from Montreal Against Abortion then contacted us to say, how do we deal with this? So the first thing I thought of as something that we could do is sending an email as a call for prayer to see if we could avert this abortion from happening, to keep it from happening. So we wrote an email calling on all our supporters to pray for this child and for the mother and for the staff so that this wouldn't happen. So that email went out roughly in the middle of the day last Wednesday. Then a supporter of ours who received that email, her name is Marie-Josée, she decided to call the hospital. So she called the switchboard and she asked for the obstetrics department of the Sacred Heart Hospital, and after a while was finally sent to that department, where she reached a nurse. And so when she got this nurse to answer the phone, she asked her, do you know about this 38-week abortion that's planned in your department for tomorrow? And the nurse answered, yes. The whole team knows about it and we're all sad about it. But you know, it's the woman's choice. So our supporter told her, it's your responsibility to be the voice for that child. You have to be a voice for that child. Who else will speak for this child? So I implore you, our supporter said, I implore you, please go to the mother and ask her if she wouldn't consider adoption. And so the nurse said she would. And our supporter was very surprised that the conversation had lasted so long, between 5 and 10 minutes, and that the phone wasn't hung up, you know. She thought it was really, providential that she could get through and talk to a nurse and that this person would stay on the phone for so long. So the next day, Thursday comes around, the abortion was scheduled for 8 a.m. And by the time 8:39 came around, we unfortunately received news from the initial whistleblower that the injection had occurred, that the child was euthanized, and that the mother was about to undergo what we believe is a cesarean section to remove the child, the dead child. And so that is what we know about what happened to baby Daniel. At that point, I had sent an email to our supporters to inform them that unfortunately the baby had been killed. And so that went across Canada. We never got so many emails in response. At least 200 people signaled their complete sadness at the event. And but we still want to have official recognition of Daniel's death, and we're trying to call the hospital. We're trying to call the hospital unit that agglomerates all these hospitals together. They have these different sections, and we're trying to get at somebody who will tell us the truth about what happened at Sacred Heart Hospital. We have this information that we've received. We've got our supporter who called, and she reached somebody who confirmed that this abortion was to take place. Now we're looking for an official confirmation, and we're not being told. Many media people from the Catholic Register, from Breitbart, and from True North Media have tried to cover this story, have tried to get confirmation of this abortion, and they've all been rebuffed. They've all been frustrated in their attempts. So there is stonewalling going on. I've also tried, when I spoke with a media spokesperson for the hospitals in the north of Montreal, of which Sacred Heart Hospital is one, she stiffened. She did not want to commit to anything. Plus, she didn't even want to give me her name so that I could just document the fact that I've called and I've reached such a person so that I could say I tried. She didn't even want to leave me her name. So there's a spirit of fear going on in the background. I think that they know this is wrong, and they don't want to talk about it. And for those who think that late-term abortions don't happen, they do. And in Quebec, whereas before 2020, they used to do these late-term abortions, so after viability, in the United States, they've brought them all into Quebec. And they've gone up dramatically since that time that they've been brought to Quebec. So there used to be about, according to official figures, 20 abortions after the 24th week or so in Quebec, and now there are close to 39 per year. And this is one of them. So I just got off the phone with a media relations person for the agglomeration of hospitals in the north of Montreal. She never wanted to give me her name, never. But she told me that we've been trading in false news, and that the hospital in question, the Sacred Heart Hospital in Montreal, never commits feticide, is what she said. It never commits feticide. But I said to her, though it may be true that it wasn't listed as doing feticide or committing abortions, might this not have been an exceptional case? And she said, no, sir, this hospital does not commit feticide. And I still, in my head, can believe what she says, that it's not a hospital designated for abortions. But since Quebec has decided to take on all late-term abortions and not send them to the States, I've read in other sources, media sources, mainstream media sources, that it's a chaotic system where they designate in an arbitrary fashion different hospitals to do the different late-term abortions, and that they are looking for one place to do them all because the current system isn't working very well. And I'm wondering, had they designated Sacred Heart simply because no other operating theater was available, And our source with the Sacred Heart Hospital said that this was an exceptional case, a first-time case, and that everybody was completely, outraged that this was happening. And so what I hear from the officials at the media relations is that this hospital is not designated, does not do feticides. Those are her words, feticide. And she told me that we were dealing in fake news, basically. But she may not be aware of the abortion that was done last Thursday. An abortion that was done exceptionally. And so I await her emails. She promised me an email with an official declaration. And I asked again for her name. She refuses to give me her name. I find that so strange that a government official would not want to give her name to a member of civil society who wants to know what they do in our publicly funded institutions. So anyways, we're waiting for that official email, which should be coming in our email box anytime now. So the crux of the matter here, now that the administration for the hospital has issued a denial. Okay, so what's this denial that they issued? They say there has been no feticide on February 2nd, so last Thursday, at Sacred Heart Hospital, and this hospital does not do this kind of intervention. Now, why did they use the word feticide when they could have just restated what I had asked over the phone, which is, did you guys do at Sacred Heart Hospital a 38-week abortion? That's what my question was. And they answer, we did not do a feticide at that location. Now, when I look at the definition for feticide on the official website of the Government of Quebec on the use of the French language, they have such an office. The definition of feticide is a crime according to the Canadian Criminal Code, a crime. Well, I didn't ask them if they committed a crime. I asked them if they, because we all know that unfortunately in Canada, abortion at any stage, so including 38 weeks, is not a crime. But they answered, no, we did not commit feticide. Feticide is the kind of thing where a boyfriend will kick the belly of his girlfriend to kill the baby inside. Well, that's feticide. I didn't ask if such a thing occurred at the hospital. I asked if an abortion occurred. And so I think that there's funny business going on still. I think that they're trying to pretend that they are denying what I had asked, but they're substituting feticide for the word abortion, thinking that I will be fooled into thinking that they've just denied that they did this 38-week abortion. I didn't ask about a feticide. I asked about an abortion. So I need more clarification from them. I have to ask them, when you say feticide, do you mean a 38-week abortion, which is legal in Canada? And when I hear that answer, then maybe we'll have clarity. But otherwise, to me, it sounds like they're trying to pretend that they're denying the 38-week abortion by masking it with this pseudo-denial of we did not commit feticide, when feticide is not the same thing as abortion. Feticide is a murder according to Canadian law, whereas abortion is not according to Canadian law. My question was about abortion.
After the press conference held by Campagne Québec-Vie on February 10th, there was silence. Silence from the mainstream media and from Sacred Heart Hospital. However, just yesterday, March 10th, news broke through the Le Journal de Montreal. Their article outlines how Sacred Heart Hospital had actually committed the 38-week abortion, contradicting what seemed to be their prior denial that no feticide took place. The article does not mention that the CIUSSS Montreal Nord originally pseudo-denied that the abortion took place. Why did it take over 1 month for Sacred Heart Hospital to get their story straight? This article also outlines that the anti-choice activists were aggressive. By aggressive, do they mean pro-lifers simply praying or petitioning over the phone that life is sacred? The fact is that a 38-week-old baby is a fully grown, viable human life. An abortion this late in pregnancy literally involves driving a needle filled with digoxin or some other poison through the mother's belly and into the child's heart or head, and then extracting the child's lifeless body. That sounds more aggressive to me than praying or petitioning the hospital to protect sacred life. May God have mercy on all involved in killing this baby's life. May God end abortion and end it soon. For Campaign Life Coalition, I'm Miles Vasilius.